Topping our farm news this morning, not so good news for farmers in states like North Dakota. USDA Risk Management Agency could be charging farmers in what's called higher risk areas more for crop insurance. A Government Accountability Office report examined RMA's lawful abilities to charge producers for crop insurance in areas prone to higher crop production risks. The study found the federal government has missed out on tens of millions of crop insurance premiums because it is not following these rules closely. Without sufficient increases to premium rates, RMA may not fully cover expected losses, according to the GAO report. Estimated costs for crop insurance between 2015 and 2024 are at $8.9 billion per year. West Fargo-based Titan Machinery closing some stores, and people are losing their jobs. Titan CEO Dave Meyer says slow ag sales and a sluggish recovery in the construction industry are the reasons why. Between the job cuts, store closings, and not filling open positions, the cuts amount to 14% of its workforce, or more than 700 jobs. 2 ag dealerships in South Dakota have been shut down, and a construction store in Wyoming. It has 92 dealerships in 11 states. Titan has 2 outlet stores and 16 locations in Europe. About 40 countries have now banned poultry out of Minnesota due to a highly contagious strain of avian bird flu. Boyd Huppert has the latest on the disease that has wiped out thousands of turkeys.
The highly contagious strain of avian flu was identified in this University of Minnesota laboratory earlier this week. Within days, it had wiped out nearly 15,000 turkeys in a barn in Pope County. We learned today that another 29,000 turkeys in 3 additional barns at or near the same farmstead are being euthanized today or tomorrow. One indicator of what's at stake in the leading turkey-producing state in the country.
Highly pathogenic influenza is deadly for birds. It kills up to 100% of a flock in a few days.
State and federal officials have established a 6-mile radius where testing of all poultry will be mandatory and no birds can be moved from their barns. In a wider 12.5-mile radius, animal health officials are driving roadways, attempting to identify all poultry flocks for monitoring.
It's important to remember that this is an unbelievably emotional time for people. I heard from a USDA person who had been out to see the flock who said, "I never want to see that again." This is devastating to people.
The deadly strain first showed up in British Columbia, Canada, late last year, where tens of thousands of birds died from the virus or euthanizations. It spread to the U.S. Pacific Northwest and now Minnesota, where an intense effort is now just beginning to stop it.
Avian bird flu first identified in Pope County, Minnesota. Now, while some chicken farmers are worrying about keeping their birds healthy, others are finding innovative ways to feed their flock. 2 Cedar Rapids, Iowa businesses have struck up an unusual partnership that's making life a lot easier for both. Lion Bridge Brewing had trouble figuring out what to do with its used barley. Over at Bass Family Farms, the cost of chicken feed was getting too high, feeding the chickens a heavy expense until the chickens took a liking to the wet barley left over from brewing beer. Once the chickens' appetite for barley was discovered, both companies jumped at the win-win opportunity.
If we didn't have a farmer to help us out, it's a waste product.
Definitely a great way to use up a product that would get wasted, and it's a good way to keep it in the food system because we're able to complete a full circle if we can feed them locally.
Now, both companies are just another example of how well chicken and beer mix. It's one of the more unlikely success stories, a working ranch in Colorado run by a group of women not normally known for their skills handling a herd of cattle. Reporter Erica Hill checks it out.
In the shadows of Colorado's Rocky Mountains lies a sacred place where Benedictine nuns serve God and work on this 250-acre ranch.
Let's put them in the corner there. People are still sometimes surprised that women are running a ranch, but that nuns are doing it. We find it a real compliment to our spirituality.
The Abbey of St. Walburga is a self-sustaining community. Each sister contributes, though not everyone arrived ready to tackle this part.
How many of the sisters here had any experience in farming or husbandry prior to coming to the Abbey?
No one. We learn from each other.
Now, as word of their ranch has spread, the sisters are also learning to manage a growing natural beef business.
Some of our customers like it because they know the beef is not produced in commercial markets. Other people want it because they know that the animals were treated with reverence.
Last year alone, St. Walburga produced 13,000 pounds of naturally raised beef for dozens of local families. But it's still not enough to meet the demand.
Are you surprised at all the reaction you've had to your beef?
A little bit. I didn't expect quite that much. Even my sisters at home say, oh yeah, I'd like to have that.
But did they have to get on the wait list too?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Even your sisters?
Even my sisters, that's the way it goes.
And while the novelty of ranching nuns isn't lost on the Sisters of St. Walburga, there's also a profound connection in their work.
Having an agrarian part of our life really keeps us rooted to the earth.
The farm teaches you, you have to pray because you are not in control of any of it. And it taught me a lot also about how to laugh and how to learn to let go.
A lesson even the most dedicated here are learning every day.
Yeah, especially in the tough years. Not many atheists in agriculture. All right, it's 4:43. We're going to take a break. Come right back, checking the weather.